So today we're going to work on our legs. It's a leg day, people. Get those legs moving. It's leg day. It's leg day. Hey, let's make some legs. So, nice thing about legs is they're very simple, and there's a couple different ways of doing them. And we're going to talk about a couple different ways, especially when we talk about the upper body and how they're connected. But let's first get off some simple things here. So, legs. If you just like with the hands, I usually start with the wrist, where I can either attach hands or they can be their hands themselves. And we just, in the previous video, showed you how to do feet, a couple different ways. So we're going to make the joints where those shoes can be attached, or they can just be your shoes themselves. And that is just two simple ear twists, nothing fancy. Lips. No, that's later. So we're now going to go up. We know how big our character is based on our head, because the head's going to be the first thing we do. If you've seen like my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle ones or some of the other characters like Wolverine, you can see how the faces kind of determine the whole size of the proportions of everything else. Spider-Man's going to have a slightly smaller head and body than the Incredible Hulk. So, for legs, well, what we have? We have the lower leg, a knee, so about a 4-finger width for the bottom of the leg. Then we have our knee, which is just a simple ear twist. Okay. Now, if you want to give it a little bit more pliability, because right now this is good, your ear twist is going to just make it so the knees are always bent. But if you want to do something a little different and it doesn't take much longer, I like to add a little split twist. Okay. So I'm going to take my bubble and just push it and twist it. Now, this lets me have much more, wherever I put the balloon now, it's going to stay. So I can make him look like he's running, okay? Or I can make it look like they're standing still, or that's completely turned upside down. We can, yeah, he's in an accident. No. Fire, safety bill there. So, okay. So that just gives a little bit more movement and kind of another little wrinkle that we can add. And we can do the same thing with our elbows on our upper bodies when we do that. So now let's go to the rest of the leg. So we're going to just do another section similar to the lower leg for our upper leg, and another ear twist. Now, let me show you a couple different ways this can be. So I'm going to do this actually in 2 colors, so you can kind of get a comparison and contrast of where the bubbles are and balloons are going, because I want to make this as simple as possible for you. So we're going to do another section here. So, again, with our ankles, then our lower leg. Here, let's do it about the same section so they actually look right. All right, knee and upper. Now, there's a couple different ways we can connect these. We can just twist them right together if it's more of a stick figure. Okay. Just like that. And going to have a really small waist. I usually like having them a little bit wider waisted. So I'm going to, that's going to be the hips. And I'm going to twist one hip around the ear twist and then go the other one. So now you can see goes up and over, okay? Now, that is good on its own if you want it to be. We can also do more to that, though. So, if I want, I might add one more layer to give him a little extra girth, or if he's got a bigger belly, because the legs kind of form that belly area, the lower belly. But right now, we're just going to leave it like this. And pretty much that's the simplest legs you can do if you want 2 balloons. Now, let me show you another way that they do, especially for some very simple characters, comic book characters, things like that, where the upper body and lower body is really just 1 balloon each. This is what people do, and it works. So you're going to start off actually with a foot or a shoe. So about 3 fingers, ear twist, okay? So gives you an idea. Then go up with our leg, do a knee. And a lot of people won't even do that. So actually, since we already did it on that one, we'll do this version a little differently. So what you're going to do is just bring it back over, okay? This is a trick I learned years ago. It's called a forget-me-not or a forget-me-twist. So what you're going to do is you're going to just twist it. That pushes the air down. And then later on when you twist that bubble, it will be where it needs to be. But right now, we're just going to come down. Okay, we don't need that to be twisted too long, so it doesn't need to be a permanent twist. And we're going to go down, going to do another ear twist for our heel, and finish it up. And we're going to tear off that balloon, tie it, and that is the one balloon feet. And let me go over here with this camera. I can change it there. There we go. So you can see where we're going with that. And when we do our upper body, we'll bring this back so you can see one way that some people do it to make a very quick body. Here's kind of my thought on characters. So my thought on characters is this. I usually spend about 2/3 of my time making the character on the head. I then spend about 1/3 of the time on the rest of the body. So if I'm making a really detailed head, I'm probably going to make a more detailed body. If I'm spending less time on the head, I'm probably going to make it a quick body. Again, that matters your different price points. If you're doing line work and you're selling things really cheap, these are your $1 or $5 balloons, then, well, anything that you're doing a body for, $5 or more. But is what I would, start at. Matters your market. But the idea, though, is you want quick so you can make a whole bunch of them. If I'm making what I call show pieces, where what I do a showpiece, I usually say they're 2 steps away from a competition piece. So this is the original idea or concept. I'm now going to do one more to maybe just figure out a little bit here and there. And then my third one, that it would be a competition piece, would be dialed in, everything be perfectly measured, perfectly sized. But a showpiece is still better than what most people will, what I call a showpiece is better than what most people will ever see with a balloon. Most people wouldn't even understand what we do for competitions. And we'll eventually make some videos about how to do competitions and what some competitions look for and things like that. So if you're doing just something quick, this is great. And we're going to show how this is connected with the body in a little bit. I usually prefer this method because my characters usually are a little bit wider. And I like having the muscles in the chest, and you'll see that in a little bit. But those are 2 very simple ways of doing legs that you can attach. And if you want, you can modify it by, do an ear twist down here, another ear twist, and then you can do the shoes. So now your shoes are different colors than the legs. So if you're like making Mario, blue pants and overalls, but then you can have like red shoes. Hold up, wait a second, stop the video, pause. I forgot something. I only showed you the skinny legs. A lot of times if you're doing bulkier characters, comic book characters like Mario, a little bit extra girth on them, you might want some fatter legs. And I forgot to show that. How dare I? So through the power of editing, we're going to correct that right now. So we're going to start out the same way. We'll do our ankles, 2 ear twists. We're going to do our lower leg and our knee. Same so far, right? No big deal. Hey, how's that work? There we go. But what we can do is now we can add some girth. So we're going to go up like we did last time with our hip joint. But to add some extra girth, we're going to come back down. Same size bubble. Make it a twin, okay? So it's going to look like that, okay? There we go. Okay. Now, so we got our knee right here, lower leg, upper leg. But this is the trick. We're going to make a soft bubble. So what we're going to do is we're going to go about half size, okay? We're going to give it a good squeeze, half size of the other one. And then we're going to kind of drag our fingers, pushing that air out of the way. So you see how that skinnier that bubble is? Especially when we pull it and we go around that hip joint. Now we have a little bit more rounded, but still good leg. So what that does is kind of gives it that illusion of some extra shape there. And then when we go across and we do another one, the legs are a little bit more closer together. So that gives it a little bit less of a stick figure shape and more of a rounded shape. So, can't believe I forgot that. Okay. Again, these are all pieces of the puzzle, and I'm hoping this gives you some creative ideas to create your own things and to share that. I would love to, see some of your work. If you have any comments or thoughts or things that we can even do to make these videos better, every video I'm trying to do something a little bit better. Working on the lighting, working on overall effect of what we're doing here to just kind of bring things a little clearer so it's better for you watching and learning. And I hope all this puts a smile on your face, because remember, a smile is free. A thank you only takes a moment, but an encouraging word at the right time can change your life forever. And today, if you're struggling while you're working on these balloons, keep going. It gets better, it gets easier. If you're having a hard day, just put it aside for a little bit. Come back to it tomorrow if you have to. I know you can do this. If you need extra help, send me a message. You can find me on theballoonsculptor.com or Instagram or TikTok or all those places, Facebook. Send me a message. I'm sure we can help you figure out what's going on. So thank you very much for watching, and keep on twisting, and adios.